Hello everybody, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another Vegan Talks video where I discuss veganism while sipping a beverage. So today's topic, as you've seen by the title, is discussing when vegans are being slightly dishonest. Now, I am not turning on you guys, okay? I love veganism. I love the community. I think vegans have pure intentions. I think that most vegans just want to better this planet, better the lives of animals, and I think it's all amazing and beautiful. However, I think with that comes a lot of overselling of veganism that doesn't necessarily help veganism in the long run. So today I want to talk about some of the ways in which we vegans, and I will include myself in this because I have done this before as well, some of the ways in which we twist the truth about certain vegan topics in order to sell veganism. I know I'm sipping tea, but I'm not spilling no tea, guys. This is not a hate video. This is not at all me trying to attack anyone's activism or anything like that. I'm just trying to come at you with some critical thoughts and things that might be worth considering when we discuss veganism with people, especially nowadays since we're seeing a lot of social media influencers falling off the vegan train, and it's concerning some people, and I think some of it has to do with the fact that some of our vegan messaging may attract people under the wrong pretenses. So before I get started, I just want to give you guys a bit of a summary of my journey, and I've talked about this multiple times, but in case you're new, I went vegan about 4.5 years ago, and before that I was pescatarian for about 4 years as well. So I had a pretty long transition period where I was not eating meat, dairy, or eggs, but I was still eating fish for a long time, and then eventually I finally decided to align my actions with my values and go vegan. I went vegan for ethical reasons and only ethical reasons. I've never been driven to it for health reasons. The fact that a lot of people were promoting the weight loss thing kind of, was like the cherry on top of the cake, but I was never the person that would be able to have the willpower to go completely vegan just for weight loss or health benefits. So it was all a very ethical decision for me. I just couldn't look at other animals that I, adored. Like I had a dog who I adored and I loved, and I couldn't look at her and feel so much love for her, and oh my God, I'm getting emotional. I couldn't look at her and feel so much empathy and love for her and know that she has a personality and feelings, and then still justify contributing that kind of harm to other animals. And even though I grew up eating meat, and it was a very difficult decision for me, I'm not gonna lie, it was a very difficult decision for me to fully go vegan. I did it because I felt morally obligated to do so. It was nothing like I wanted to look good or be skinny or anything like that. But yeah, that's my story. And I think that's what makes it, like, I don't want to say easy, but like easier for me to stay vegan, because it was such a struggle to begin with. It was a journey and a struggle. I didn't just, flip a switch and go vegan and follow a trend or follow a certain diet. I just decided to eliminate animal products. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of reading. Anyways, that's my story. And I wanted to discuss some ways in which I think we should change the way that we promote veganism, because I think some of it is sold as like a cure-all for everything. And as much as veganism is amazing and it's great and I love it, there are struggles and there are real problems that people face, and I think it's important to address those problems rather than just brush it. What is the term? Brush it off the rug? No. Brush it under the rug. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? All right, so let's get on with how vegans may twist the truth about veganism. Veganism is so easy. I went vegan overnight and I never looked back. Here's the thing. I don't doubt that, and I don't think that's actually a lie. I think a lot of people that say veganism is easy, it may very well be easy for those people. I think that we are underestimating the differences in our personalities and in our upbringing and in our situation. We all grew up very, very differently. Some of us grew up in a more vegan-friendly type of environment. Some of us grew up in the middle of nowhere where all you ate was, I don't know, hunted meat and things like that. And we all have different environments, and we also have different personality traits. Some of us are quite independent thinkers. Some of us are more focused on following others, which is fine too. We can't have a world full of leaders. That would be a disaster. Some of us are more passive. Some of us are more active. Some of us succumb to peer pressure more than others, and we are all very different. Some of us have more addictive personalities than others. So we need to take those into consideration and realize that maybe it is not easy for everybody. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people that, for them, veganism was easy, so they just assume that everyone is going to have an easy time. And a lot of vegans might say things like, well, it was so easy for me, I don't know why it's so difficult for you. I think that's lacking empathy, and I think that's one thing that we really should work on as a group, to really just try to see that just because you're not feeling that way does not mean that the other person's feelings are illegitimate. Some people say they went vegan overnight, so they push the whole go vegan overnight, get rid of all the animal products, that kind of mindset. And I think that that is, in my opinion, not the best way to promote veganism. I think we should promote it in a way that allows people a bit of flexibility to work with their own lifestyle. We all have different lifestyles. Maybe you live alone. Maybe somebody else lives with 5 other people that are not vegan. Maybe someone is below the age of 18 and they find it hard to go against their parents and what they're doing. Everyone has a different situation. So to tell people that we should all go vegan overnight is not very helpful information, in my opinion. I think that we should encourage people to, of course, transition toward a vegan lifestyle in whatever way that they can do in their lifestyle. Okay, so the next one really bugs me. Because I think everyone knows that it's kind of BS. Again, I have no hate toward anyone that's ever said this. I think that some people that say this actually do believe this, because I don't know. But I'm just gonna be realistic here, okay? The saying is, you can have any food that you want to have, just the vegan version of it. So I can eat whatever you can eat, but I just eat the vegan version. You can have all of your favorite foods that you ever loved, just eat it in the vegan version. So this is a problem, okay? This kind of overselling vegan food substitutes is a problem, okay? Because let's face it, guys, not all vegan substitutes are wonderful and amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. At least in the last few years, vegan substitutes, meat and animal product based substitutes have really stepped up the game. Okay, we got the Beyond Burgers, we got the Impossible Burgers, we got, all kinds of like veggie hot dogs that taste just like regular hot dogs, vegan cheeses that are out of this world, vegan cheeses that melt. We also have some nasty vegan cheeses still. We got some vegan mayo that tastes just like regular mayo. I think some substitutes, yes, you can say, okay, I can actually have the vegan version of it and it pretty much tastes exactly the same. For example, I think baked goods, most baked goods actually taste, if you do it properly, they taste just like non-vegan baked goods. Cinnamon rolls, for example, you can make amazing vegan cinnamon rolls that taste just like regular cinnamon rolls, things like that. But there are certain things, let's face it, guys, we're not there yet. There are certain things that we cannot get as a vegan that is equivalent to the non-vegan product. Let's be honest, okay? I'm not saying that I want to go and get these things. I'm just saying that we can't sell people on this premise that you can eat whatever the hell you ate as a non-vegan and have the vegan version and it's gonna be just as good, okay? Let's be real. For example, like bacon. I know a lot of people love bacon. There are bacon substitutes, but I have yet to ever taste a bacon substitute that tastes like actual bacon. I don't even like bacon. I never really liked bacon that much. I ate it once in a while, but it just, was just strips of like pure fat to me. And it's not like I'm trying to substitute bacon, but when I have vegan bacon, I think actually vegan bacon tastes great. But let's be honest, guys, it doesn't actually taste like bacon. And another thing that I used to love as a non-vegan was steak. I know, that's weird, right? I loved steak. I ate steak like rare, like blood dripping out of... Things have changed, okay? But anyways, I used to eat steak and I loved it so much, and now I'm not a steak eater. Obviously, I haven't eaten steak for the last 8 years, but have I ever eaten a vegan steak that tasted like steak? Hell no. Do I miss steak? No, I do not. Come on, we all know that it's not true that you can fully substitute everything you eat on a regular diet to a vegan diet. But let's be honest, and we can say things like, look, here's the honest truth. Was it tough for me to transition over and give up on these foods that I loved so much? Of course it was at that time, but I think that ethical element stuck with me for a long period of time. I held on to these foods as if they were like a part of me. I think a lot of people are emotionally attached to these foods, and I think once I went vegan, I realized once you actually decide in your mind to let go of these foods, it's more easy than I thought to let go of them and realize that I don't need these foods in my life anymore. And now I actually don't even crave steak. I can't even imagine eating steak. It disgusts me to even think about chewing like a piece of meat. Like that would just be No, I can't. So your taste buds change and the things that you crave will change over time. And these things sometimes take longer depending on who you are and depending on what it is. But yeah, like after a while, you're gonna realize that you don't even miss those foods anymore that you thought you could never live without. You're gonna realize that maybe, you don't need these foods. There's so many other vegan foods out there that are really great. And you can eat so much of a variety of foods within a vegan diet. And plus you're saving the lives of animals. So is it true that I've never eaten a vegan steak that tastes like steak? Of course. But is it also true that I am living just fine and beautiful and dandy without steak? Absolutely. I haven't eaten steak for 8+ years and I don't ever plan on eating steak again, and that is completely and totally fine with me. The thing is, there are so many great amazing vegan foods out there that are undervalued, and I think we need to push those vegan foods out and allow people to see the beauty in vegan cuisine, because there is so much out there. Whew! And not just a world of substitutes. We're not just living in a world of substitutes. This is an all-encompassing one, but it goes something like this. Veganism is going to help you lose weight, feel great, lose all the acne, look the best that you could possibly look, slim you down, la 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 la. And don't get me wrong, guys, I've done this before too, where I talk about the benefits of a vegan diet, and I'm not saying that it's not going to help you potentially lose weight, potentially look amazing, potentially clear your skin and feel amazing and all of that. For example, when I first stopped eating majority of animal products, I felt super energetic. It was to the point where I noticed a significant difference in my energy levels, to the point where I quit coffee for a very long time because I didn't feel the need to drink coffee anymore. Although I drink coffee now, but at that time I did not drink coffee for another 2 years because I didn't feel the need to drink it on a regular basis. And this is coming from someone that used to drink coffee every single day, like a giant cup of coffee. So I felt a huge source of energy, but this isn't necessarily going to be the case for everybody. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's body is going to respond differently. And of course, it also depends on what you were eating before as a child, before you went vegan, and also what you were eating as a vegan. You could eat a really, really crappy vegan diet. That is very possible. And that might make you gain weight. Who knows? There's so many different possibilities. So I don't really like to sell veganism on this premise that it's going to help you cure all your diseases and cure AIDS and all that stuff, I think we should be cautious. I don't think that there's a problem with discussing that there is a big possibility that you might feel great on a vegan diet, that you might lose a lot of weight, you might even help heal your chronic diseases. I think there's a very big possibility of that. But at the same time, that kind of claim should also come with a lot of maybe science-backed nutrition advice and setting people's expectations not too high and being a bit more practical with their advice. Yeah. I think the problem with selling veganism in this way, telling people you're gonna look great and feel great and you're gonna be amazing and everything's gonna be wonderful and blah, 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 is that it sells people veganism as this all around cure-all package. And, people are gonna think that they're gonna always feel amazing and beautiful and fantastic on a vegan diet. And that's not the case. I have days when I'm super exhausted. I have days when I feel great. I have days when I feel, random pains out of nowhere. And, I'm a human being living in this modern world. I'm not a superhuman just because I'm vegan. I'm not some disease-free specimen just walking around just because I'm vegan. I am a normal human being and I am prone to normal human being conditions, mental health conditions, physical health conditions. I could get any of those as a vegan. So I think that when people sell veganism with these health claims and all of these benefits, and people start to feel health problems, they're going to automatically think, okay, this vegan diet clearly is not working for me because I'm clearly supposed to be feeling great all the time. People need to realize that, veganism is not the cure-all for everything. You're still a human being. You're still probably going to feel crappy sometimes, and you might still have health problems. Maybe we live much longer than we ever naturally can, so maybe that creates a lot of health problems just naturally. Maybe we just can't be perfect because we live way too long now. So the fact that we're living this long might mean that it's gonna come with health ailments because we're actually not supposed to live this long. Oh my god, I'm off on a different tangent, okay? But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Okay, so this next topic, I'm actually going to talk about this in another separate video where I kind of rant, but I thought I would touch on it in this video, is there's no such thing as protein deficiency, or that you don't have to worry about protein as a vegan. And yes, those are probably true in many ways. I'm sure there is such thing as protein deficiency, but not if you are eating an adequate diet. That's what I've heard. It's very rare, at least. Even if there is such thing, it is very rare. I've never heard of anyone getting protein deficiency or anything like that. However, to say that vegans don't have to worry about protein, there is some truth to that, but I think that isn't really helpful, because the problem is that most people grew up with animal products as, in their minds, the only source of protein. And when they grew up thinking like this, and they have these eating habits of only eating animal-based protein sources, then when they start to go vegan, they're going to have a bit of a harder time adjusting and trying to substitute for those meat-based protein sources. So what a lot of people actually do, and I think this is very harmful, is actually just take out the meat and take out whatever animal products and not replace it properly with the right substitutes. And this creates a lot of problems like under eating, or just not eating enough protein to feel satisfied and satiated. I don't know if you guys know, but protein is extremely important for your body to feel satiated. So it actually allows you to feel fuller for a longer period of time, which is why I really like to add lots of plant-based proteins into my diet. So when we tell people don't worry about protein, guess what they're going to do? They're not going to worry about it, and they're just going to take it out, take whatever animal products out, and not substitute it properly. That might not lead to deficiencies necessarily, but they're not going to feel optimal on that if they're used to eating a pretty high protein, high animal product diet. Obviously, even if, vegetables contain protein, which a lot of vegetables do, you're gonna have to eat a lot of those vegetables to meet your protein requirements for your lifestyle. It's not like we're sitting around like gorillas eating plants all day long. That way, maybe we can get enough protein from literal vegetables, but we have lifestyles where we can't be sitting there eating all day long. So we're gonna have to have more efficient protein sources, which is why I always promote healthy plant-based protein products like beans, lentils, tofu, nuts and seeds, and things like that. And the last thing that I hear a lot, and I think that we should maybe think twice about before saying, is if you went vegan for the ethics, you would never go back to eating animal products. As much as I want to believe that that is true, I think that, we need to be honest about our own limitations as humans. And I think we need to realize that as humans, we're not always ethical, even though we think that we are ethical and we think that we will behave a certain way because of our ethics. A lot of our own behavior shows otherwise. And just because you're vegan does not mean you are beyond that as a human being. I think human nature denotes that we are inherently quite selfish, and we will do things based on our own self-interest and also based on our social standing and our social pressures. This is why, even though a lot of people might believe in the full-on ethics of a vegan lifestyle, they can go back to eating animal products, even though at that time when they were vegan, they were fully convinced that they would never go back and that they were vegan for life. There are a lot of people that were ethical vegans. As far as they were concerned, they were ethical vegans, and then they went back to eating animal products for whatever reason, because they thought that they were getting sick or whatnot. Yes, there are a lot of people that are strong in their ethics, and they will continue on with their ethical actions and all of that stuff, but not everyone is like that. And I think that human beings, we don't always behave in an ethical way. Social pressure is a huge thing when it comes to the way that we behave. And if everyone around us is not vegan, and if we're constantly being bombarded with messages about animal products, constantly seeing, advertisements for animal products, constantly being harassed by our friends and family, constantly feeling socially isolated, it can be very easy to forget about those ethics and go back to eating animal products. We are extremely social creatures, and under social pressure, we are capable of doing horrible things depending on the circumstance. It's not because these people are evil, it's because these people are humans and we're imperfect by nature and we have issues and flaws by nature. So I've said this so many times, and I'm not saying this justifies anything, I'm just saying this is the reality. So I think we need to keep discussing it and keep supporting one another and realize that it's not just the ethics that's going to just keep you vegan. If we break apart as a community and we start slandering each other and we start, saying horrible things to each other just because one person disagrees with the other person, and this kind of community just breaks apart, it's much easier for these people to go back to eating animal products. Human beings, we feel the need to connect and we feel the need to belong to a group and to a community. And if we don't feel like we belong, then it's much easier for us to go back to eating animal products or go back to whatever ways that will make them feel like they are a part of something. And I think I'm going around in circles, but yeah, that's kind of that. That's what it is. All of that being said, I'm still vegan. I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. I don't plan on changing that in my lifetime. Alright guys, so that was my video about some of the ways in which I think veganism is being oversold. I hope you didn't take offense to anything I said. Like I said, this wasn't meant to be an attack on anyone's activism or anyone's line of reasoning or anything like that, and I'm sure that most of these are, you know, said with really pure intentions, so I'm not here to bash anybody, but I was just, you know, sharing my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!